Oh, blessings. Thank you all so much for being here. What a wonderful blessing to join this stream. We are live streaming and we are streaming consciousness. I love that, how that interlinks. Consciousness streamers unite, and this is about unity. I'm Mira Michelle. I'm the founder of the Sacred Female Rising Institute, and many of the sisters that have been weaving with this wonderful institute that honors the life-giving force of the divine feminine are here with us. And we are going to introspect on beauty and dispelling myths, perhaps, about beauty. So I'm also one of the members of the strategy team of Co-Creating Europe, and Co-Creating Europe is basically holding this space or this platform of unity consciousness. And so many other amazing humans are supporting that, like our sister Sue Cooper, who's in the room with us. So we're all here together. How are you ladies feeling this morning? Woohoo!
Hey.
Thank you for being here Sunday morning. Left your families for an hour, your families and your beloved ones, to join this. Thank you so much. And thank you all of those that are watching on Facebook and other platforms and joining us on this deep dive into beauty. So I would very much like, before we go through the panel and speak with each woman here, would very much like to start with a minute of silence. How does that sound? As we open the space. So what I have to offer is take that minute to allow yourself to open to beauty and what beauty is for you and how it informs you. Thank you. See you on the other side. Blessings. Okay. Okay. Yes. Some say that human beings cannot live without beauty. Some say that human beings thrive and become more of who they are when connecting with beauty. We know that in our modern world, beauty may come at a high price, may be part of the market. These are just a pinch of the questions that this panel is interested in convening with. So let us begin by passing the talking stick to each woman. And they are here as representatives not only of the divine feminine, their own work in sacred female rising, but of womanhood itself. And women would like to ask these questions to each other and to all of you watching about the subject of beauty. Big subject. We probably need a couple more hours than what we have, but let's go for what we do have. Okay, so we're going to ask each woman to say their name, where they live, and where your ancestors come from, and the most beautiful thing you have ever seen in one sentence. Okay. That's a good challenge. And so as we do this, I ask all of you that are watching and dreaming and weaving with us to do the same and see what comes out for you. All right, thank you. Blessings. So you 5 women, Katharina, Undina, Christine, Magdalena, and Marion, one can start and then please pass the talking stick to the others.
Blessings, beautifuls. My name is Aurora Katharina Anait. I'm born in Hanover, Lower Saxony, in the middle of Germany, in the north. My ancestors come from Germany and the old roots until France and until the north. And the other side comes from Persia, Caucasus, Armenia. Beauty in one sentence is for me the divine moment in time which cannot be forced.
Aye.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Marion. I'm sitting in Heidelberg, Germany. And my ancestors come from the northwestern region of Germany, Münsterland, very deeply rooted for hundreds of years, quite amazing. And another part comes from the area of Cologne and further north, can't be tracked anymore, but I would say Germanic tribes. Probably. The most beautiful thing I've ever seen, I really pondered on that question and wondered, how can I single out one thing? And I think the one thing that is probably for me sticking out the most is, in fact, really just holding my newborn baby in my arms. You know, this is just, there's no more magnificent beauty than that to me. So I think that's it, even though I have so many others ideas, but that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey.
I'll jump in. So I'm Christine. I'm sitting here in Germany. I'm from Canada, but my roots are German, Dutch, Celtic, and French, spread across quite a mix. And I also thought a lot about this question. And for me, the answer that came was Mother Nature in all of her guises is what takes my breath. takes my breath and gives me breath. So whether it's the mountains of Canada or the oceans of Portugal, just this is beauty for me. This is pure. Hey.
Hi, my name is Undine Flora, and I'm sitting here in Berlin, Germany. And my ancestors also come from Germany, and yeah, the roots are also spread across Europe. So some from the north, some from France, and yeah, the most beautiful moment in my life is on one hand hard to grasp, but on the other hand, it was also so clear. It was when my little sister was born. She's 15 years younger than me, and the first time I was holding her in my arms was such a magnificent moment. Yeah, that really connected so deeply in my heart that this will always be the most magnificent moment. Hi.
Yeah, my name is Magdalena, and my ancestors come from the old eastern parts of Germany, which are now Poland. And the most beautiful thing I have seen is the moment just before the rainbow occurs. Means when the sunlight illuminates the darkest clouds and there's a room between this dark and light. This is what I love. Hey.
Oh, hey, sister. Well, I'm so moved by all of you. I think you answered for me already. That way I don't have to. Oh, well, I'm Mira Michelle. My ancestors come from England, or actually Britain, and that would be England and Ireland. That's on my mother's side. On my father's side, my ancestors come from the west coast of Africa and indigenous Native American. So, and I presently reside in Germany. Beauty for me is that which arrives fully in the moment. Presence. Oh, hey. So, the rest of you women who are in this wonderful circle, we're going to ask you to answer this question also. Okay, so get ready. It won't be this second, but it's coming. So you can ponder if you would like to join this weave. But before we do that, we're going to go into an open circle inquiry about beauty. And so these are some of the questions that I have pondered to be answered, and I'm most curious about the response. What is beauty for women at this time in our human history? How has it changed since the time of our mothers? And that could be an inner beauty or value or worth, or an outer beauty, value or worth. How do you express your beauty or do not express your beauty? And how does that feel? Are women generally intimidated by another woman's beauty? We can expand on this. And how can we dispel myths here about that precise question? What does beauty give to your spirit? Does it matter where you see it as long as you feel it? Or is the seeing and feeling both necessary? Okay. So we're going to do this wonderful panel sort of popcorn style. So this is one of my favorite things Anne-Marie has given me, besides all the other things. She goes, let's do popcorn. So, and I love the visual. And we're going to sort of dance with each question and see how long it wants to be there and what fuel is underneath it. What's it working with us? Okay. So we have 20 minutes for this whole inquiry for all of those questions. And then we're gonna hear the responses from our other sisters in our sacred room here. Okay, does that sound good as a format? All right, let's go for it. What is beauty for women at this time in our human history? You can go as broad as you want. It's up to you how to answer the question. And how has it changed since the time of our mothers? If it has, indeed. All right.
To me, beauty really speaks out of a person, no matter how they look, no matter how they are, but how they feel in their skin. So it's really much how comfortable you actually are in the way you are. The more I find that person beautiful, the more I find this whole situation beautiful. And the more you embrace your authenticity, I also find that very, very beautiful. And the more we appreciate our own individuality, our uniqueness, and the uniqueness in the people around us, I think that's inherently so incredibly beautiful. And I think this also is something that has always been beautiful, as far as I can say. But I also think that is not always appreciated from all people when they see other people being in their power, being in their strength. I think that some people really get, maybe angry at some people that are happy in the way they are, maybe because they don't suit into the beauty standards or the ideal that the industry presents. But no matter if people like that or not, I think beauty comes from when you are happy in your skin, when you really feel that you are comfortable the way you are, no matter how you look and what you do.
Oh, hey, sister. Thank you.
What I perceive is that beauty has become a category that has entered the market. It's something that is competed around. It's something that is set. There are norms that define what beauty is, and this is quite global. I don't think it applies everywhere and to everyone, but I think there is a very powerful through media and through discourse. There's a very powerful idea of what beauty in women is looking like, and you can see there's so many beauty operations worldwide. This is unbelievable. And so it has for me become a site of contestation, and the only way out to become independent of this is not to look for beauty in terms of competition, not to look for it on the outside skin, if you want, but to really kind of start almost like a view of the whole person, and more look for what is emanating, and you can see it in an expression, and I have never seen an ugly person if you start to look into somebody's face who's maybe not conforming to this standard of beauty, but you focus in this person's being. There is no non-beauty. That's quite wonderful to relate to that kind of beauty, and not to look for it on the scales of other people's definition, I think. But I do think women in this time and beauty, it has become a bit of a battleground. Thank you.
Well, hey, I'd like to bring that back in a bit later, the last part of that, what you were speaking of. Okay, sisters, let's move.
Hey, great question. Yeah, my mother left this Rian's 2011. And in her days, what I really see as her daughter, what made her the most beautiful being in my eyes was when she was in her musical profession on the piano, in her inspiration, in her muse. And that was something she had to fight for. I had many books from her here about women in the music scene and the classic music scene and so on. Women and the music. And I feel like that this vibration of a woman in her beauty, in her connection, in her purpose, in her radiance, and really like a flower being visible in that field is something what is growing today. It's still kind of difficult to go out in the media and to get visible and be connected to your voice and to your radiance and to your frequency. But in kind of this work, like we do it right here, this is kind of supported to stay connected with your voice and your female power and to share what really beauty means to you. And this is really what has changed for me in the now. Thank you.
Wow, thank you. Beautiful. Blessings.
Yeah, I suppose when I was thinking of this question, as beauty is within this market and it's capitalized upon, it's these external standards that are placed on something so ineffable, so it's external arbitrary standards. And you can see how it's changed. It changes from one generation to the next. It changes even within one generation. You can see how if you can zoom out from this, if you can zoom out from these external standards that are being placed on this, you can see in the end that it's arbitrary when it's coming from this direction. And when you tune into that and instead you find what this inner vibration of beauty is to you, you can break these standards. You can kind of separate from this illusion that it's something others can project onto you. This is what I feel about this question.
Blessings.
What came to me was the question how our mothers experienced beauty or the standards of beauty. I remembered one of the last moments I spent together with my mother, and there was a sunset, and I was amazed by it, and I was saying, look, it's beautiful over there. And she saw the car right in the scenery in front of the scenery. And I was talking about the huge screen over there and the huge decor with colors, and it was so beautiful. And I understood a lot in this moment. And I think this is because for some of us, the beauty for me is like love. What is the love I can give? What is the beauty? What is approved by the others? And how can I nourish also this earth, this life, for that I can flourish too? And in my family, it was like this. This is for my mother and her mother, that the beauty was in her function. So they had to function, and they had to work as a housewife, and they had not at all the time to look at a sunset or to flowers or something like this. Yeah. So I think for us all, I think beauty is something to cultivate. Yeah. And there's I have one favorite movie. It's The Color Purple. a beautiful movie with Whoopi Goldberg. And there's one quote which I think of a lot, and it's, I think it pisses God off when somebody walks by the color purple somewhere and he or her doesn't notice it.
Oh,
Hey.
hey. Whew, goosebumps. Thank you so much. I mean, you all gave me goosebumps. Whoa, woo, 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 woo. You know, I thought also a lot about these questions as I wrote them and as I pondered them. And what came to me is beauty is symmetry also. Beauty is like geometry because there's always symmetry, right? And for some years, I was modeling for a living. So I was a professional model in California for, I don't know, 10 or 15 years. That's how I paid for my university. And well, it was interesting. It was painful and it was also interesting, you know. And it was also good because I could educate myself through working and not having to work so much. However, what I saw again and again is that when this part of the face equals the same with this part and the pie and everything, like this part of the arm equals to that, right? And the eyes go there. I mean, yeah. And this, we humans look at, we begin to focus on the symmetry, which is very similar to what Undina started with, presence, because I think presence has symmetry also when you are in your authentic being. And so I feel that what the marketplace is working with are numbers, actually. Back to physics now. Really are something like numbers, because you know there's been a lot of research that when they have 3 or 4 people that have the exact same credentials that go for a job, the one that has this sort of symmetry that will literally focus the eyes on certain points, we as human beings will always focus on symmetry because I feel that's part of our nature. Right now, what we do with it, that's a different story. But I think that's definitely part of our blueprint, so to say. Because for me, when I look at nature, it's all like symmetry. I mean, nature has numbers, right? It's incredible. A tree will grow. Yes, there you are. Thank you. Exactly. I mean, she is the ultimate creator of symmetry, and in almost every way. A tree will grow in a specific way towards another tree. And you can measure that, and you can go all around the forest and find something similar, or exactly the same. It's fascinating, right? So we're talking about pi, actually, in the end, aren't we? Fibonacci's code, and so on and so forth. So I'm interested to go deeper into our social cultural, or the social cultural ramifications and how it affects the female psychology. So now we're going to get a bit tighter, and we're going to ask these questions, and the responses need to be just a little bit more precise to sort of, you know, focus on the time. We have half an hour. So let us go into, are women, or have women been created through competition, intimidated by other women's so-called beauty or symmetry? And how can we expand on this, and how could we possibly dispel any myths about that. Does that question feel clear enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there are many ways you can take this. This is always the beauty and the difficulty, let's say. But I kind of got caught by this idea of pi, that we're talking about pi. And at the same time, we're talking about presence. So it's not only numbers, there's also something about presence. But this is not answering your question. This is just something that kind of popped up. So to be more concise with your question, I actually do think there is intimidation happening with beauty because of the way it works and the way it has an immediate reaction on people, immediate, like it doesn't pass the mind. It goes directly as a direct answer to what is perceived. And there are so many ideas connected to a beautiful woman, so many other associations coming in with that, who she is, how she would behave, how she would be in relation to my relations, and so on and so forth. So I think there is quite a lot that has built up over time. And if you feel yourself to be beautiful, you will feel it less painfully, as if you have grown into feeling yourself not to be beautiful. So there's also a question of, where do you see yourself? How do you feel your own beauty? I think this is a real question in that relation.
Oh, hey, thank you. That was...
Blessings. This is for me. I see beauty in nature and in cycles of nature. I can't really. I was always like running from competition. I feel like natural.
We don't hear you, my darling. Okay.
Sounds like you're going back out and in.
No.
Do you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I'm very sorry. I have to, my iPad is connected to my phone and then it gets in. So beauty for me is colors also. So when we had a journey with my brother and my daughter after the death of my parents, to connect them, I couldn't force the beauty to reach them, and we went to holidays in that places where we had the most beautiful moments with our parents and grandparents. So but I couldn't force the moment. Everybody of us fell into this release and beauty and of remembrance. And so we left Sweden and we went to Denmark. And on that trip, my daughter had a huge release. And I was like, okay, it's super. Now we are going back to Germany, having a stop in Denmark on the beach. And my daughter is just going into a big process. So all of that beauty I wanted to be forced was like, for me, like not available, it was even a more bigger disaster. And then we reached the Denmark coach, and we were drawn in colors of all orange, the whole sky on this coach. Far you could look, it was all drawn in these colors of the sunset. And then it went like half an hour longer. It was like the time was stretching like infinity. And we went into the ocean, and the ocean was also in these colors drawn. And then every pressure fell down from me, because beauty is really, it's divine time. And we couldn't even be better in the timing, and we couldn't even be more heart open from my daughter's process to really be connected with the divine. For me, really, is the beauty and the power of our purpose and potential cannot be forced. This is the key for me.
Hey, sister. Ooh.
I think I would like to go back to the question where we see beauty in other people and why we sometimes cannot stand seeing other people being beautiful. And I think generally this feeling can arise when, or is just like, oh, beauty is a way to express something that is deeper inside. Like we get annoyed that somebody else is more beautiful, maybe because we don't allow ourselves to be beautiful, maybe because we are not sure if we can be the way we are. So I think it's a deeper question in that sense, that we have our own insecurities. Can I be the way I am? Can I take the space that I would like to take? And why can she do that? And now I'm angry at her because she can take the space and I don't allow myself. So I think beauty is just a way to express other insecurities that we as a society carry. But because it's the visual way, because it's easy to look at a book just from the outside, it often gets beauty. It often gets the first step to, okay, well, she's just beautiful, therefore she got that job, or therefore she got that promotion. But in the end, it's so deep in ourselves, and we take beauty as a way to express our anger about it, our own insecurities and insecurities in the world, I would say.
Ooh, blessings. Hey. And that's what I want. That's why I wanted these young women to be on this call also, right? Woo, 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 woo. Okay, Christina Magdalena. Which one?
Yeah, I think it's a flawed belief that another person's shine dims our own shine. And in this comparison, it's a belief that blocks us from really seeing the true reality. When we're in a field of flowers, we don't compare the different flowers and judge the flowers on their beauty. We see them all for the beauty that they are, different, imperfect, whatever. It's all beautiful. And I think when we fall into this vibration of judgment and comparison, we lose touch with what makes us beautiful, with what makes us shine, is with love, actually. And to go back on the topic of numbers, I think it's super interesting because in nature, indeed, yes, there's numbers and patterns. And this is maybe harmony, this vibration of harmony that underlies everything. And we gravitate towards this for sure. But perhaps the market has stripped this away. And by focusing purely on the numbers, by saying, this weight, this number is the ideal and the rest is not, you create this culture of comparison. You create this competition that tears us, that forces us into this judgment and this comparison vibration. And I think this is so, it's such a flawed belief. If we can just snap out of it and tune back into ourselves and our own beauty. And yeah, this is the key, you know? So, thank you.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, I'd like to go back to the question of being intimidated by other beautiful women or not. And I just remembered the time I was living for some years in Morocco. And so I made the experience of being considered as beautiful and exotic. And the women were intimidated by me and they got really aggressive. And I also experienced that it was just like when they don't know you. So it's like a fear of being divided from each other. And as we got friends, it was all fine. There was never again verbal aggressions or something like this against me. And me also, I experience, I feel intimidated by beautiful women. Okay, we are all beautiful, but I mean, when I really feel appealed by somebody, and this is also fear of being not recognized by the other, or of not reaching to a point of melting or of being really sharing our beauties. So this is also a question about presence and about my ability to being present and of sharing.
Beautiful. I'm just goosebumps all over. And I get the wonderful opportunity to invite you other sisters into this round now. So please share with us your wisdom and your experiences also. Thank you.
Thank you. I've loved this. It's and it's so beautiful hearing the voices of the different generations as well, and the power that comes with that. I see beauty in everything, and I think that's because I'm a meditator. So coming into the presence and really stopping. But one of the most beautiful things I ever saw, or the whole of me, was where I was walking with my family through Venice after having a beautiful meal, so my tummy was full, and I could hear music. I could hear music playing far away, and it was air on a G string, you know, that beautiful, and it was on I think it was on a flute, but it was drawing me forward. And as I was being drawn with this music, I saw a photographer. So I stop always and look at photographers because they're seeing something I'm not, because they're present in the moment. So I stood behind him to see what he was looking at, and this music was still playing, my tummy was still full, and the moonlight was coming down the side of this wall, because it was a very narrow opening of water. So the moonlight was coming down. And then a gondola came around the corner, and he took the picture because it was shimmering on the water. The moonlight and the light was shimmering, and it was a moment where everything aligned, every sense aligned, and I was conscious of the moment. And then I heard my husband shout, saying, "Where are you?"
So good.
We're brought back into reality, but the moment, I can recreate that moment again just by sharing this with you now, and I'm back in the beauty of the whole thing. So thank you for asking us and inviting us to, or me to, you know, to share a moment of presence. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I could feel everything you see. That was so descriptive and wonderful. I was right there with you, Sue. Oh, thank you. So good. So please, sisters, if you have some to share, we would love to hear your voice. And if you don't, then we feel your spirit.
Can you unmute yourself again, Mir? Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on this call. I had no idea what I was joining, but I'm very glad that I'm here. And I just wanted to follow on from what Sue said about I see beauty in everything. And when, I can't remember who it was who held up that beautiful ammonite, and it just struck me that and what you said, Mira Michelle, about symmetry, and how really from one perspective there's perfect symmetry, and from another perspective it's asymmetrical, and how at some it depends which level we look at, what our perspective is and how we perceive, but more about perspective, that there is always symmetry, there is always beauty in any and every situation. And one of my favorite phrases, which comes from this film, which is collateral beauty, which, you know, people talk about collateral damage, but actually in any situation, no matter how horrendous it looks, there is always this collateral beauty, and it's about perspective and where we choose to place our focus of attention. So yeah, thank you. And if I may say, one of the most beautiful things that I ever had the was blessed to witness was the pure love that I saw on my grandmother's face when she was really unwell and shortly before she passed away. And I had just arrived in India to see her. And she sat up looking rosy-cheeked with her toothless smile and with her eyes just shining so brightly. And I just got this huge hit through my whole body. And I just had this complete realization of when everything else falls away, when the mind, the body, everything falls away, the only thing that remains is what really matters, and that is love. And for me, that's beauty. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Blessings. We're not only going to call this the beauty call, we're going to call this the goosebump call, because I stop getting goosebumps all the time. So we have like 3 more minutes for this sharing. So if you want to get something in, please do it now.
Annalise.
Yes, well, I'm always almost into silence after what Meher said, but the collateral beauty really, really touched me. And I was remembering this moment when I was for the first time in a retreat with all people I did not know. And then we were asked to walk around and watch each other at a sign in the eyes, very, very silently watching in each other's eyes. And my goodness, that really, really touched me so deep inside, seeing the beauty of all these eyes, seeing myself, seeing them behind eyes, and the beauty of the eye itself. My goodness. Whew. So, it's one thing I look you all in the eyes, come closer to you, and yes. Oh, my goodness. Thank you for being here. And that we touch upon beauty. And that I can sense it all over. Inner and outer beauty. Thank you, Mira Michelle, for bringing this to us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I would like us to very much weave, just for like a 5-minute weave. 5-minute weave, 5-minute weave. And the women who know me like, 5 minutes, does that mean 50 minutes, Mira? You know? Well, today it has to mean 5 minutes because 5 minutes is all we got. So we literally have 10 minutes left at the moment. And I would love to really, for us all, as the powerful women we are, and I don't mean that outward power. It can mean that also, but I mean this depth of caring, this depth of valuing life, this depth of being willing to see, really being willing to see and perceive, as our sister Maya said, to call in beauty. I mean, your responses have been absolutely gorgeous. That's my favorite word, one of my favorite words if I'm looking at beauty. I'm like, oh, gorgeous, gorgeousness. Because it feels so round, this word, you know, it just envelopes me in that vibration. And for us to call in beauty now, to really call in our own beauty, to honor our own beauty, the way we walk, how we bend over to pick up a feather from the earth, the way that we feel when our eyes pierce the heavens, when we put on our favorite lipstick that we've had for 5 years, you know, so on and so forth, all these tiny precious moments. And we're going to call that in, and then we're going to call in the beauty of our world to us. So being in this reception, in this receiving space, as we women are so incredible at. And feeling our breath in our bodies. And feeling the space around us. And feeling that we are all a part of and the creators of this weave, the sacred weave. We are the weave and we are the weavers. We call upon the sacred vibration of beingness here and now, together as women on this call. And all women watching, we hope that our words and our offerings have honored and supported you in whichever way that it has come. So, Great Mother Earth, we are before you and your divine creations of so much beauty. And Father Sky, we are before you in your co-creation of so much beauty. I ask you all who are here and those that are watching to call your beauty to you now, in whichever way you shall do this. We call beauty in this room. Emanating out. And now we're going to take one more step into beauty. You can stay as you are, feel comfortable. or not. Do what you feel to do. And we're going to start calling that beauty to ourselves. Really speak to it. Maybe there's something you perceive in beauty that you would love to call more to self. Just, for instance, like in the daily life, the beauty of. Or maybe you're in a process in your development that there's a deeper acceptance that wants to happen. So we're renaming, right? We are recreating our narratives. So I'm gonna coat that thing I keep doing that I'm hard on myself about. I'm gonna coat that with some beauty. I'm gonna re-perceive that button. Okay. So when we go off of, oh, I know what wants to come in. Hold on. All right, we have a little beauty assistance here. Feel free to go off of mute. And we're going to call out the beauty. And I'm going to start and end it. And I'm going to call out the beauty of the moving body. The body moving in freedom. Whoa.
Indulging the sound for brain.
Beauty of the voice freely expressed.
Woo!
The beauty of a baby smile.
Oh, yeah. Oh, thank you.
The beauty of playing, children.
Can you imagine what they would do with this rattle? I'm not going to do it here.
The beauty of uncontrollable time, circle, divine time.
I'm calling in the beauty of the flourishing, growing flowers and the fading ones, and the beauty of the whole garden.
I'm calling in the beauty of felt emotion and presence.
Felt emotion and presence. Yes.
I'm calling in the beauty of recognizing each other.
Claudia, you got something for us?
I'm calling in the perfection in the imperfection.
Oh. Thank you all so much for sharing your hearts, your minds, and your beauty. Thank you so much.
to Caravan of Unity, co-creating Europe. You rock, you women. Oh, amazing. I'm going to be sitting with my goosebumps all day.